It's Quintavious Bell with Pro Inspect Solutions, certified professional inspector here. And today we're doing our first live to talk about more information so homeowners can do, a better job with upkeeping their homes, or information that realtors or real estate professionals can use in order to just give more assistance to their clients. So without further ado, we're going to turn around the screen here. So today's inspection Q&A will consist of annual home maintenance tips here. And this actually was actually inspired by a young lady that was currently a renter. She rented for several years and then recently got into home ownership and really didn't know the full parameters of being a homeowner and things that you have to take care of once you become a homeowner. So this is for, matter of fact, let me go down to my next screen. This teaching session is for current homeowners, future homeowners, which is of course home buyers and home sellers. All right. So again, this was inspired by somebody that had rented for numerous years and then decided to own a home, but didn't quite have that mind shift in order to tap into home ownership. So we want to help those individuals that recently became homeowners, even people that are currently renting right now. It's best to try to treat that home as if it's yours already, so you can already get in the habit of doing things and it won't be a struggle once you move into your own house. All right, so I'm going to be very brief today. I'll try to be very brief because I can be long-winded, but I'll be very brief today. And these are the topics that kind of keep me on track. So we'll be covering the exterior areas when it comes to maintenance, the HVAC system, the plumbing, the electrical, and the appliances. And we're going to give a quick little tidbits here, and in order to just kind of give you some great information that you can use at your home. All right, so with the exterior areas, and most of these are annual home maintenance remedies. Now, some of these things that you have to do, every 3 months, every 6 months, and we'll kind of identify which one. And if I ever go too fast or lose track of you guys, you can always message in the comments. All right. So the exterior areas, you want to test the lawn irrigation systems. And the reason why you want to test those, I would say, at least every month, every 3 months, is because you could have a broken head, which is basically not doing you any good because it's watering not only your lawn, but somebody else's lawn and wasting a lot of water. Also, you could have a plumbing line that's causing a leak, that's causing your bill to go skyrocket. So you want to make sure that you're checking to see if those irrigation sprinkler heads are in place and they're working fine, or you want to make sure that your grass is getting water properly because it costs money to replace sod. All right, the next one is you want to make sure that you seal those exterior cracks and voids, and that means hairline cracks that are on stucco homes that have stucco siding, also windows on the exterior. Make sure that there is no air leakage that's going through that area. Door frames, just make sure there's no air leakage as well, because that's that basically prohibits you from saving money on the energy side. So we want to make sure that those cracks are sealed from the door frames and the windows. Also, the cracks are sealed on the siding, whether it's stucco, whether it's whatever siding you have, stucco, hardy board, whatever siding you have, brick. Whether it's veneer or the actual brick, you want to make sure that that is sealed because it can cause moisture intrusion, which can lead to getting inside the home and damaging any drywall that you may have inside the home. And it also can cause some pest entry. So you want to make sure those are sealed up. Also, next one, you want to keep gutters and downspouts clear. You want to keep them clear because over the course of 5 years of doing home inspections, I noticed when the gutters are filled up to the brim, that water from the rain just continues to fall back on the actual edge of the roof and cause wood rot to the actual, it's called fascia, but just to make it just understandable. It causes wood rot to the actual edge of the roof, and it can lead to further damage inside the roof decking, and you just don't want that to happen. And it's just an easy thing that you can clean out 3 months to 6 months throughout the year. Also, you want to make sure that those downspouts, are directed at least 6 feet away from the actual foundation, because many times I come across downspouts that are basically disposing water right by the foundation wall, and it's causing either soil erosion, which basically means that the grass is basically becoming dirt. It's causing the walls to crack. And it's going to cause settlement over time for your home as well. So you want to dispose that water at least 6 inches, maybe a foot to 6 feet away from the actual property. Next, keep trees trimmed away from the roof. I could not express how important this is, because you come across inspections that roofs are damaged because of tree limbs that are overhanging the roof because of a hurricane, because it's a dead limb, and it's just bound to break and hit the roof. So keep those tree limbs cut back. It's easy to do that. Once you go outside and spot it, you want to make sure that you address it quickly. And also, when leaves fall on top of the roof, it just creates a situation where those leaves can suck up the rainwater and cause moisture intrusion over a period of time on your roof as well. So you want to go ahead and just cut those back. Next is doing your own roof inspection. You don't technically need a roofer or a home inspector to see the obvious signs of damage to your roof. I would definitely agree to checking out your roof after a hurricane or any type of tropical storm, or just once a year, just kind of taking some binoculars and from the ground level, just looking at the roof if you can. Of course, if you're not able to do that, then you may want to get an expert to assist you with that. Roofers are gladly to come out and help you with taking a look at the roof, by the way. All right, our next system is the HVAC system. All right, so with that, you want to make sure, because people tend to forget, I don't know why, but maybe it's the everyday busyness of life. Sometimes you can forget to change out the AC filter, and I sometimes forget myself. So I make it a habit of changing it myself once a month. I put at least 3 months on here, because if you can catch it in 3 months and change it out, that you're still in good standing. But I would say once a month at least. I mean, once every 3 months at least. And if you're very well kept, you want to keep it very well up, at least once a month. Next, you want to clear out that condensation drain line. The condensation drain line is something that you can find by the air handler. It's actually a picture on the screen here of an air handler where you see the actual duct coming from the air handler. And I believe this is inside the attic here. And you want to make sure that that PVC pipe that you see on there is drained out, because what happens over a period of time is, if you don't change the filter on time, your coils begin to get dirty, and that will cause some backup in your drain line. So all that water just from the refrigerant line that's coming in to give your home cold air begins to cause condensation in that drip pan, the drip pan that you see right underneath the actual air handler. And when that condensation happens, it could cause condensation not only in the drip pan, but also a backup in your condensation drain line. And that will cause quite a bit of a damage to your surrounding areas, whether it's inside the attic, in the walls. It can also cause mold damage. So you want to clean that out with vinegar and water. I would say do it every time you change out the filter, to be honest with you, just to kind of keep you in the routine of doing things. With vinegar and water, I personally do half a cup of vinegar and maybe a full cup of water to rinse that out. And if you need help with that, you can look at YouTube, and they have plenty of videos showing you how to do that. Another thing with that, in order to give you extra protection to be proactive, I would suggest getting something like a safety float switch. A safety float switch just triggers the thermostat to shut off when there's a backup in the condensation drain line. So therefore the unit would just stop basically producing air because it knows that it is a backup in the drain line. So this helps buy you time with, well, it forces you to clean out the drain line because of that too as well. And also prevents any damage to your walls or anything like that. So you can get a safety float switch or a condensation drain pump that can help do those things. And they're very inexpensive, by the way. The next thing is cutting back the vegetation from the actual air condenser. You want to cut those back because those trees just sitting on top, those bushes and those leaves just hanging around the actual air condenser, which you see on the left-hand side, it can cause just the efficiency of the airflow not to be where it needs to be at. So you want to cut those back. I always recommend an annual service to every client that is purchasing a home, just because you want to have those coils clean, you want to have the refrigerant check, and that's something that a technician would have to do in order to make sure that that's up to date. All right. Next, we have the plumbing section. So this is one of those things that you kind of just want to double check. Typically, you may not have plumbing issues, frequently, but I hope you wouldn't have it frequently, but you want to double check and make sure that everything is sound. So you want to look for leaks around toilets and sinks. When I say leaks around toilets, you really want to look for leaks right underneath the toilet tank, the actual tank around the nuts and bolts, because those tend to loosen up after a period of time and water will start dripping behind that washer. And the next thing you know, you'll find out that your water bill is going up because of that dripping from the actual bolts is not only causing damage to the floor, but it's also causing the fill flush valve to keep on bringing in more water because of that drip. So you want to make sure those bolts are tighten up behind that actual toilet, the tank itself. You want to make sure it's tightened. Also, around the sink area, the faucet at the sink is typically known for those seals going bad over a period of time. You want to make sure that there's no leakage coming from the actual seal around the base of the faucet, and you'll see like little water as you begin to wash your hands. That's a sign that there's a leak, the seal is broken, and that could cause water damage to your cabinets. You don't want to have that go on for too long. The next thing on the sink, in regards to the sinks, is actually the waste pipe, the drain waste pipe. It's like we call it a P-trap. That typically cracks over a period of time and causes leaks. It's almost like a U shape. I don't know why they call it a P-trap, because it looks like a U shape a little bit, but it does, I guess it kind of does fold like a P, so I understand. So yeah, so you want to check that out as well and make sure that you just rub your hand underneath it, make sure there's no leaks. The next one is just checking for drainage and clogs in toilets and sinks. Of course, you can easily find out if you have any problems with the drainage when it comes down to the toilet. Of course, many times in order to rectify that or have a remedy for that, if you have any backups, before you call a plumber, I would suggest putting some half a cup of vinegar. It's the 3 halves. I call it the 3 halves. A half a cup of vinegar, a half a cup of salt, and a half a cup of baking soda. Okay, so a half a cup of baking soda, half a cup of salt, half a cup of vinegar, and you pour that down the toilet, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then you boil some steaming hot water. Get it really, really hot. One of those old gumbo pots, get one of those old gumbo pots, and then you pour it down the drain, and if it doesn't open up the actual the drainage, try it one more time before you call a plumber. So you want to do that, and you can do that for the sink as well. If you have a sump pump in your home, which is usually located in the basement, you want to have that service annually. If you have a septic tank, you want to have that service every 3 to 5 years, just to make sure that the drainage is good on that. All right. And if you don't know what a sump pump is or a septic tank is, you probably don't have one in your house. So you don't need to worry about that. All right. Next is the electrical. This is something that most people don't even test out. The smoke alarms, the carbon monoxide detectors, you should actually be doing this monthly. Um, and I say that because anytime a fire can break out, you want to be in a position to have all your systems to alert you when there is a fire, or even when there's a carbon monoxide in the air. And if you don't have a combination of those detectors, it's very inexpensive to buy one in order to make sure that you're covered on both sides. If you do have hardwire detectors, that's great. They normally come with battery backups. So it's great to change those batteries out every 6 months. It's very important to change out battery operated smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors, because there's no hard wiring going on. So you need to, it's solely depending on the battery. So you want to make sure you change those out every 6 months for safety. The next item is testing out your GFCI receptacles. Your GFCI receptacles are those little test and reset outlets that should be by your bathroom, in your kitchen areas, in your laundry rooms, and they're meant to provide a overload protection or overcurrent protection if you had lightning or electrical surge that were to come into your home for any reason, or if you had a overload of electricity because you were using a dryer for too long and it overheated, and now your GFCI is in place to shut off your electricity because there's an overload of electricity and won't catch on fire. So that's what that GFCI is meant to protect you. Just meant to make sure that anytime there's overload of electricity, all the outlets are connected in wet locations. Again, bathrooms, kitchen areas, and laundry rooms. Anything that has 6 feet of water, it should be there in order to shut that off, because water is a conduit of electricity, and we don't want anyone to become electrocuted because of electrical surge or lightning. All right. The last one is appliances. Okay. Um, when it comes down to appliances, we frequently skip over this. Frequently, the dryer, cleaning out the dryer vent. And what we don't realize, that not only should you clean out the dryer filter, but also the vent, because it can build up lint and cause room for moisture to occur, and as well as it can cause a fire hazard. Um, I've heard stories of older couples, having a home catch on fire because of the fire lint. Even young couples, because they haven't did the due diligence in order to make sure that's cleaned out. You can actually go about that several different ways. You can use a wet dry vac to clean that out. And you can YouTube that and find different ways you can clean that out. But you want to make sure you address that, especially if it's going through the roof. If your vent terminates through the roof and not through the side, you especially want to make sure that you clean that out, because again, it can cause moisture around the roof decking because it's clogged, and now you have wood rot along the roof because of that too as well. So you want to make sure that it's cleaned out. The next one is the washing machines. The washing machines shake a lot on the spin cycle, and the hoses normally loosen up on the back of it. So you want to make sure that the hose connections are very tight, because if it's loose, now you have water dripping all over your floor, and that can cause a problem with long term, depending on where your washing machine is located. So wash and dry, you want to check those things out. Now there's other items on here that I probably didn't touch on, just because I wanted to keep it short, nice and sweet. But if anything that you recommend that someone knows, feel free to put them in the comments, by the way. And this is the portion of the uh, the the inspection Q&A to ask your questions. And um, if you don't ask them right now, of course I'll be online to follow up with you, but it's best to get it in right now while everybody's watching, so to give you some feedback and some tips so you can take the best care of your home. Because at the end of the day, this is the investment that you're making for at least maybe 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 years. We want to make sure that it's well upkept, and so it can increase value and equity inside your home. So feel free to type in the comments your question. All right. Quintavious Bell with Pro Inspect Solutions. Thank you for stopping by. You have a blessed day.